Welcome back. We're going to be talking transfer, of course, the English Premier League, and also Arsene Wenger. But then we have Akintunde Badajones in the studio. Good morning. Good to have you.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me, as usual. Yeah, a lot to talk about, I guess. The transfer window that just shot closed.
Yeah. We don't want to get started on that one because we're going to need, you know, 2 shows to handle all that. So we'll just focus on the English Premier League, which is back this weekend after the international. Yeah, right. You didn't enjoy the international break.
No, I did. I mean, especially because there were high-pressure games, deciders, games that determined what teams will be playing in Russia next year. Quite critically, Nigeria put 1 foot and 4 toes in Russia by picking up 4 points from those, you know, 2 games against Cameroon. It was, I mean, easier than I imagined, indeed. The Cameroonians didn't show up in the first leg. Nigeria was fantastic. We blew them out of the waters. Second leg, but for a lapse of concentration by the goalkeeper, we could have won that game and secured qualification. But hey, we have 2 games to do it, just a point in those 2 games and we're through. But then there were massive upsets here and there. I think there were 3 big teams that lost at home in those two games. Cape Verde did the double over South Africa, for instance. I mean, that for me was shocking. Cote d'Ivoire lost at home. I mean, so, to Gabon. So that's to tell you that the gap, the so-called gap between the big guys and the minnows, the so-called minnows, is not as big as we thought. If anything, it's reducing, you know, by the day. So World Cup qualifiers across the world, Argentina put themselves in further trouble by drawing at home to Venezuela. I mean, in Europe, there were, you know, big results. France were held at home by Luxembourg.
Incredible results.
So it was interesting, but hey, that's not to compare in any way, shape, or form.
You're still going to go back. I don't know if you've seen it. It's gone viral a bit. Mesut Ozil on the ground, someone trying to pull him up, and the caption says, "When it's time to return to the Premier League with Arsenal, and you don't want to go back."
Yeah, it must be the feeling that a player like Ozil has. He's flattered to deceive, the press will say, but here's a player who, for the most part, has been played out of position, has been played in a formation that is not favorable to his style. I think Arsene Wenger can take a cue from how the German national team lines up. Ozil has the freedom of the city. I mean, he can roam, he can create stuff, and he doesn't have to defend. But the English press would always judge him by, you know, not tracking back and whatnot. But this guy is a creative force, one of the best there has been. But he's not doing it for Arsenal. So the critical question is why? And Arsene Wenger is the man who can answer that question because Ozil obviously is world class. There's no denying that. And to not be able to get that quality to bear on the Arsenal team is a massive disappointment. And that man in the picture there, Alexis Sanchez, we've seen his body language over the last months. He's been frustrated. He's wanted to leave. Almost left on the final day, but for the fact that Arsenal couldn't bring Lema, if we're to believe anything that Arsene Wenger said. But he would have to refocus now. On the national team front, it's not going well for him as well. They may not qualify for the World Cup. So Arsene Wenger, Alexis Sanchez have a lot of questions to answer when they play Bournemouth in the league on Saturday.
Talking about that, Arsene Wenger has been reacting to the poor start to the season. You know, sometimes when you ask him such questions, he's always very, very philosophical. Let's listen to him now.
If you ask me, do I suffer with performances like that? That's obvious, and if it makes you happy that I'm suffer, I wish that you can tell you can be very happy. But on overall, I think, unfortunately, it's part of a career as well. You want ideally your team always to perform at the top level. And of course, you question your decisions, you question your preparation and absolutely everything. But overall, I believe as well, we have played 3 games and there are 35 games to go. Performance is swinging and life is movement, and the quality of a performance can change from one week to the other. That doesn't put me in any denial that our performance was not good enough. But sport is sport, and these players are, I must say, I love my players, I believe in my players, and we have a good opportunity to show that we have the quality that people want from us. And we are in a part of a season where we want our fans behind the team. They can come out of this game and go to quick conclusion, okay, we are not good enough, or they can say, let's see what's happening and stand behind the team, and that's what we want.
Okay, winning or losing, fans have to just stand behind Arsene Wenger.
Starting with this weekend against Bournemouth.
What do you make of it? I mean, every season we listen to this kind of stories and all that. I'm bored, really.
Yeah, I am also. The truth is, Arsene Wenger doesn't take learnings from his failures, and that's why Arsenal hasn't won the league in 13 years, haven't competed beyond the second round of the or the first knockout stage of the UEFA Champions League. Right. He keeps making the same mistake. Last season, he played Jurgen Klopp twice, lost twice, playing the same way. He played again this season, exact same way, you know, getting ripped apart by pace down the wings, not doing anything about stopping Mane or Salah. You know, he doesn't.
And his best players were on the bench, even.
His critics, you can put it that way, have said he doesn't show any respect for his opposition.
Yeah,
he doesn't work to stop
There
them.
is no preparation whatsoever.
Right.
He knew that Mane and Salah were going to be, you know, bombing.
Messi and Neymar on the day.
That pace, you've got to find a way to deal with it. Yet, you play, look at Salah's goal. Bellerin was the only Arsenal player, the last man, and he was in the Liverpool half. And you know that these speed demons, if they broke through, there was no catching them. Right. So, I mean, he does these things. Arsenal has lost 6-0 to Chelsea before, 5-1 to Liverpool before, lost 8-2 to Manchester United, been beaten black and blue by City on occasions. So, you see, Arsenal will beat the teams they expected to beat, but in the big games, they'll be found out, in Europe and domestically.
Okay, let's look at other fixtures for the weekend now. We know Manchester United might just have a test also this weekend as they're facing Stoke City, so that will also be huge for them. Other big games to look forward to, Tayo?
Yeah, the big game definitely, undoubtedly, is what a way to return to the Premier League. Man City versus Liverpool. We'll get back to you on that, but Arsenal will take on Bournemouth. It's going to be Brighton. They've struggled so far in the league. They'll take on West Brom. Everton will play against Tottenham. That's another massive game to look forward to. Leicester City versus Chelsea. Champions of the last two seasons go head-to-head there. And you also have Southampton, Watford, Stoke, Manchester United. Can Manchester United maintain their winning start to the season? Looks like it's going to be a tough test at the Britannia. Burnley versus Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace under pressure. Manager De Boer is under big pressure right there.
Welcome to the English
Welcome to the Premier League. Swansea will take on Newcastle and West Ham versus Huddersfield.
Work for West Ham.
Let's go.
Well, I'll start with West Ham, Huddersfield. Huddersfield have started the season the most brilliant way possible. They've got 2 wins and one draw, I think. They conceded.
They're not conceding goals.
Yeah, like United. So, I mean, you can't have a better start to your maiden campaign in the top flight. Right. United will beat Stoke because United will have more of the ball. Unlike when Arsenal played Stoke, Arsenal was trying to play through them and they played very congested through the middle. Okay. United have big players, Lukaku and co, who can head the ball. If push comes to shove, they can cross.
Yeah,
they can cross balls. Exactly. So they would unlock them somehow.
Right.
City against what Liverpool. A tasty Liverpool. What a tasty battle. I think these two teams play the best football in the league.
Right
now. Last season, Tottenham ran them close, but this season, undoubtedly, both of them play the best football. City have done it in stops and starts. They haven't been consistent because teams have gone pretty much to set up defensively against them. But Liverpool isn't going to set up, Klopp isn't going to set up defensively. So we'll have two teams playing offensive football for 90 minutes. Expect goals on this one. Expect it to be won by the odd goal, maybe 4-3, 3-2. But it will be a feast of attacking football for 90 minutes.
Leicester and Chelsea?
I think Chelsea will win that one. Chelsea suffered a scare in the first game, but they have since recovered, quite commendably. They look solid in defense. Morata has scored 2 in 3 starts. Right. He's weighing in with assists. I think that, yes, losing Matic was critical, but Leicester doesn't have the sort of quality to punish them for what they have lost in the center of midfield, because they always go long. They always try to hit break with the pace of what's his name now, Vardy. With Drinkwater gone, something significantly missing in that midfield.
Yeah.
That's going to affect them.
I just don't know
Definitely, because they haven't brought in quality to replace him. Remember, when they lost Kante, they suffered because they brought in Mendy, who didn't make the cut. Now they have Ndidi, who has settled in beside Drinkwater.
And now Drinkwater is going.
Now Drinkwater is gone.
I was like, what would Chelsea do with Drinkwater? Because it's going to be a loss to Leicester.
He will be drinking a lot of water on the bench, actually, because he's not going to walk into the first team.
I just don't get it.
Well, he knows that.
He wouldn't need any water on the bench. It's not running. I was drinking water. Let's see, one more on Premier League before we go. Everton, Tottenham. Ronald Koeman says Wayne Rooney is going to play, regardless, drink, driving, charge, and all that. What do you make of that?
I think that the Everton team would look at their performance against Chelsea and be embarrassed by it, because they didn't do anything on the day. I thought that in their first 2 games and in the games preceding that in Europe, they had done very, very well. Rooney has started very, very well, but in that game they offered nothing. But this game offers them an opportunity to redeem their image. I think that they've got the quality. They've got some brilliant young players coming through who are doing very, very well. Davies in the middle of the pitch.
The park,
I can't remember his name now, the England under 20 guy who won the World Cup. Calvert-Lewin, fantastic footballer. Rooney has hit the ground running. So Ronald Koeman, I'm sure, will be getting his players hyped up for this one. I think that they would get a draw in this game.
They'll get a draw. Yeah. Okay, I thought you were going to say they'll get a win. And Tottenham, remember, are not playing at Wembley. So,
okay, all right.
So they're going to go to some power. Let's move on.
It's possible?
Yeah, it's possible.